everyone, how are we today? Just doing our weekly check-in, what you need to know this week, get you through. I do apologise for all the coughing and sniffling, guys. It is winter here in Australia, and as always, asthma, allergies, all that fun stuff. So I do apologise. But make sure you do subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date with all the readings. I haven't been able to upload quite as many as I would personally like. I am having quite a lot going on in my personal life at the moment, so I am having to prioritize personal readings. So if you would like a personal reading, check out the description box. All my info is in there, but also check that description box for timestamps so you can jump ahead to your placement, any other placements you want to check out, that sort of stuff as well. Today I am going to be using the Sacred Sea Oracle as well as the Arana George Lenormand. Okay, this particular Lenormand deck does have a couple of extra cards, so it's very interesting sometimes when they do come out. They just add a bit of extra layer of stuff. Okay, but starting off with Aries this week, like I said, timestamps will be in the description box. Okay, Aries, what does Aries need to know this week? What's important for Aries to know right now? Aries, what does Aries need to know right now, please? Ooh, Sacred Serpent Spirit. This is all about DNA activation. This is a very interesting energy because it is kind of telling me actually here that there's something to do with DNA evidence, DNA connections for you at the moment, Aries. So I do feel as though for a lot of you, this has got something to do with, you know, your biological DNA. Like this is something for some of you where there's something important this week about, you know, maybe for some of you, it's like it's thinking about certain traits that you have very similar to, you know, your parents, your siblings, those sorts of things. There's just something about your DNA activating at the moment and the activation feels more like an awareness of a similar trait or something important about your DNA there. For some of you, it's for a couple of you, there is like a health issue that's being activated for you this week, and it's actually like a genetic thing. Okay. The birds actually just flew out there as well, Aries, and the birds does talk about important conversations, you know, gossip, rumors, chitter chatter in the background kind of stuff. So there may actually be an important conversation with somebody that is kind of making you realize that, oh, I'm actually more like my mom or my dad or my sister than I thought. Maybe it's important for me to be more like, you know, somebody that I am related to here. It does just feel like a biological connection here, a genetic biological connection here. Some of you may be, you know, like researching your family trees, talking to people about genealogy and that sort of stuff. For some of you there, if you don't know much about your family history, there may be a conversation taking place that is, you know, activating some sort of knowledge about something to do with genetics. Weekly check-in. What does Aries need to know this week, please? We also have the Spirit card coming through first, as well as the Bear in connection with that bird's energy there. So for a lot of you, this is, you know, looking at your DNA on a deeper level. I'm getting a lot of really random messages here, Aries. You know, this could actually have to do with blood types. This could have to do, you know, because I am hearing the rhesus negative thing. Like, you know, it could also be, you know, like exploring the sacred DNA within you. So exploring, you know, ties to family history and your ancestry and, you know, some sort of spiritual connection or that you may be connected to through culture or something like that. It could also be talking about things like like the light code type stuff. The like it's kind of giving me a few conspiracy theories here. Okay, so it may be a spiritual ancestry that we're really looking at here for majority of you. It does seem to be very spiritually based. That spirit card, it does talk about, your destiny, the balance within you on an elemental level as well. You can kind of see in this particular card, we've got the earth in one hand, air in the other, standing on water with fire, like flames, fire for hair. So it is embracing all the elements there, earth, air, fire, water, and spirit, obviously, as well. It is the card of spirit. So there may be something there about, looking into the spiritual connection that you have between, even just in your own, your own DNA, your own astrological chart and things like that may be, important to you this week, having conversations about those and how they're important to you this week as well. I do feel with that bear here that for some of you, this is actually sort of putting you on guard a little bit here, that there's something about this that is maybe like triggering a little bit, not necessarily triggering, but you're just feeling a little bit defensive about something. So maybe someone is saying something to you this week, especially with the birds here. It does sort of talk about conversation. So I do kind of feel that for someone here, it's like someone's saying to you, oh, geez, you're like your father, and you are not happy with that statement because it's not necessarily a positive thing the way that they're saying that. So you're kind of standing guard against this sort of conversation. And, but there is some sort of, it's activating something within you on a spiritual level, one way or another, Aries. So kind of, very interesting. I would actually suggest, checking out your moon sign to get a little bit extra info with what that's all about for you personally. There may be a little bit more to it than that, but for a lot of you, it is just something really simple, like, just a little conversation about, even if that's just within, with your own self, about, something to do with, being very connected to your own DNA in some way. I am picking up that for a couple of you, there is some sort of health connection here as well, being aware of, health, family health history and that sort of stuff. And if you are having some sort of symptoms and things like that, being aware of, how that may connect on a a genealogy kind of level as well. Very interesting, Aries. So that's what we have for you. More than welcome to check your other placements. Like I said, I would suggest that moon sign. Subscribe to the channel, and we will move on over to our Taurus. Okay, Taurus, what does Taurus need to know this week? What's going on for our Taurus this week? What does Taurus need to know right now? Priestess of Transition. This talks about honoring your individuality. All right, so transitioning from, a part of the herd to not being afraid to stand out on your own, Taurus. Really honoring and paying respect, homage to your individual traits this week, Taurus. Pardon me. My cough has really been set off today. It's driving me insane. Clarifying this message for Taurus. What does Taurus need to know this week? What's going on for our Taurus? Weekly check-in for Taurus, please. This is like, it does seem to have like, I don't know if it's super clear to you guys here, but this background picture does sort of look like the iris of an eye. So I kind of am just sort of seeing something here, Taurus, about you standing in a mirror and really appreciating the things that make you you. So for some of you, that may be an interesting activity you might like to undertake this week, is to, do some sort of mirror activities where we're really sort of paying homage to, our individuality through a physical sense for some of you here. So I'm not sure exactly why that's coming through, but as we're going through here, we do have the clouds coming through firstly. So it's kind of like straight away, the way that you think about things is very unique immediately here, Taurus, that you have good thoughts, you have good opinions. Stop being so anxious about sharing those. Your thoughts are unique, and sometimes they can actually, really help remove confusion from other people by you sharing those thoughts. You do tend to overthink a little bit here, so there is an element here of being careful to not overthink too much this week, because that's where the anxiety does sort of come from there in a lot of you there, Taurus. So just be careful of that. And it's kind of also saying here it's good sometimes to just stop thinking. Okay, and not just not overthinking, but also just stop thinking and just take yourself away from it all for a little bit as well. Because with the clouds talking about your thoughts, and then we do have the bed coming through here, which talks about rest. Okay, and taking some time to rest and recuperate your thoughts a little bit here. So rather than racing thoughts, allowing your thoughts time to sit and process. For a lot of you, it may really talk about things like meditating at bedtime might be really useful to you here. Resting. The wording is comfort, finding comfort in cozy sorts of thoughts, like not feeling as though you have to push your thought patterns out of your comfort zone this week, Taurus. Finding comfort in your thoughts. We also have the lily here as well, so there is a lot of emotional intimacy coming through with that. So we also do see here another secondary message coming through, that our thoughts may be on the other thing that we do in the bedroom. So we do see, sexual intimacy there with the bed, but we also see emotional intimacy here as well. So we may be thinking about, ways to spice it up on a more emotional level, that sort of stuff coming through a little bit there as well. It's all about stirring it up to, stirring up those emotions so that we're processing, longer term connections with things on a sexual level. So rather than just the short bursts of fun and just short-term stuff, we are sort of focusing on the emotional connection that leads to long-term satisfaction, I suppose, there as well. So that's what we have for you today, Taurus. You are more than welcome to check out your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel, and we will move on over to our Geminis. Okay, Gemini, what does Gemini need to know this week? What's going on for Gemini? What does Gemini need to know right now? Sea Queen of Waves. Calibrate to nature. Interesting. So I want to say recalibrate to nature, calibrate to nature. This is the Sea Queen of Waves. So water may be a very important part of balancing you to nature at the moment as well. It's kind of really all about the, the ebbs and the flows, because we do sort of see that we've just had that full moon, and this Sea Queen of Waves, she really does, control the tides and, bring it in and bring it back and bring it in and bring it back. So it's kind of really just, settling into your natural rhythms, the natural rhythms for you, and how that connects you to the greater world around you. So for some of you, there is the need here, especially, those of you who are, able to menstruate. I do sort of feel that there is a need to sort of do something to recalibrate that. Like I'm just sort of picking up on somebody who, has been on medication that has been, stopping that or changing that or something like that. There is a need to, get back to the natural rhythm with that. Okay. But we'll clarify that there, of course. Gemini, what does Gemini need to know right now? So if you are a female, or if you are someone who can menstruate, and you're wondering where it is, this week it's going to be, this is the week for that to get back into a natural rhythm. Okay, so I don't know why that's coming through like that, but Gemini, what does Gemini need to know this week, please? I know it's such a thing. Not gonna lie. You might just be trying to match my cycle, Gemini. I'm not far from that. We have the flowers coming through first, so it's definitely time to. Oh, okay. We have the birds as well. So the birds is about conversations. All right. So it's time to get involved in a conversation. The flowers is reciprocal energy. So it's giving as much as you're receiving. So you do need to be an active participant in this conversation. So you do need to, talk as much as you're listening. So it's giving and receiving, giving someone the time to, listen to what they're saying, and receiving them listening to what you need to say as well. So it's equal give and take with this conversation. It's time to have that conversation. It's going to be probably about money here. We have the fish. Okay, so it is most likely going to be a conversation about money. That is actually your card, Gemini. So it could also be about you yourself rather than actual finances. It could actually be just, having this give and take sort of conversation about something that you need from somebody else. All right. So I do sort of feel for some of you there, it's a the fish is all about creating your own abundance, creating abundance and wealth, in lots of different ways. Generally speaking, it's going to be money, but I do feel, because that's your card coming out for you here, for some of you, it may be like this conversation could actually be something like, look, I feel like I'm giving you all this time and energy, but I'm not receiving any time and energy back in return. So it could be a conversation that's taking place this week about equal give and take in, what you're needing from somebody, what you're giving to somebody. So, that could go both ways, but it's just all about, calibrating back to the natural rhythm of that relationship, if that's the case for some of you there. All right. So that's what we have for you today, Gemini. You're more than welcome to check out your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel, and we will move on over to our Cancers. Okay. Cancer. What does Cancer need to know this week? What is going on for our Cancers? Cancer. Oh, Visionary Sea Queen. That sort of looks very Mayan, Aztec-y to me. Potent projections. Oh, Cancer, this is like, this is really strong manifestation type energy, but it's kind of like, it's kind of be careful what you wish for a little bit here. That you have a lot of power behind you at the moment, and the way that you're projecting visions onto others is it feels like it's more to do with, the visions that you're projecting to others, that they're, so if you're saying to somebody, oh, when you do this, it looks like this, it's hard to explain. But it's like you're manifesting without realizing you're manifesting here. That it's like if you tell somebody, oh, this is going to happen, then it's very likely that that's going to happen. You're kind of manifesting that. So if you're saying to somebody that that's never going to work out for you, it's kind of like you're so powerful at the moment with your manifestation that you're making that not work out for them. So it's very important for you to be very careful of your energy this week, and careful, what you're projecting onto others, and others people's, capabilities and skills and potentials. Because I feel like, if you say it, it's going to come true kind of thing this week. And but it's more to do with, your interactions with others. It does feel very muchly to do with, projection. You're putting it out there kind of thing. And a little bit for yourself as well, that the more that you put it out there, the more that it's going to come. So it is definitely like manifestation of some sort coming through here. But it's wanting you to know that it's like, whatever you say this week, you need to be very, very careful with your words this week, and make sure you are only projecting what you want to actually be the truth. Don't be saying things like, oh, just as an example here, oh, I've got no money, because then you really will have no money. You're going to, make that the truth. Everything that you say becomes truth this week. So be really careful with what you're saying to others, especially. Cancer. So it does show you that it's a very potent time for you to be manifesting in the positive sort of arena. Cancer. What does Cancer need to know right now? It's just kind of like I just feel like it's like your words have more power than you realize at the moment. And, if you're saying things to people, it's going to mean a lot this week. You really could be changing somebody's self-worth, goals, whole life trajectory, just by them listening to something that you're saying this week. So just be careful there. We do have the letter coming through first. So yeah, definitely seeing communication, very important this week. So like I was just saying, you do need to be very open and honest with your communication, but also in a very positive spin, knowing that anything you say this week comes true. So you really need to be very wary of your communication this week, not just verbally either. I feel like this is, the things that you're writing and texting as well, that sort of stuff as well. So just be very, very careful to, not be that negative Nancy this week, because you're going to make more problems for yourself if you do. We have the Mountain there as well. So, this is going to be especially prominent when it comes to talking about things being obstacles, delays, challenges, blockages, immovable. All right, I'm definitely seeing a lot of immovable energy here. We have the mountain and the house here as well. This could also talk about projections to overseas, overseas stability and security connections. So that's coming through in a bit of a weird way. That it's kind of like it's giving me like a specific message, but it's not very clear. And I feel like that's part of the issue here, Cancer, is, something you're potentially saying this week is, making things very unclear and very unstable if you're not careful here, especially when it comes with overseas matters. So this is like, how you get like a phone line and it's like not a very good connection, and all you can hear is like static, and you're like, hello, or you've got that overseas call and it's very, dropped. You can hardly hear what they're saying, and it's you're really trying to hear clearly. Like be very, very careful about the way that you're communicating potential problems, because the more that you put it out there, the more it's going to happen, and you're actually going to create these blockages. For some of you, you are creating these blockages within family unit here, and or housing issues as well. So you need to be very, very aware of this. It could also talk about maybe dealing with a Capricorn. So your impact upon Capricorns is going to be quite strong this week as well, which, that is the Capricorn card, the Mountain there. But it just sort of lets us know that if you want everything to stay, stable in your life right now, you do need to put in a little bit of extra work and be very determined to keep your words positive this week, and be very aware of what you're putting out there. Okay. So that's what we have for you this week, Cancer. You are more than welcome to check out your other placements, of course. And we will move on over to our Leos. Okay, Leo, what does Leo need to know this week? Weekly check-in for our Leos. What does Leo need to know? Seeing the color red, Leo? Red may be an important color for you this week. Sea goddess of abundance. Celebrate abundance. Okay, so that does say card number 25 as well. That does feel significant in some way, shape, or form. I keep getting random messages about the color red. I'm not entirely sure whether that's a good or a bad thing, but it keeps telling me, it's like in the movie The Matrix, and there's that little bit where it's like follow the white rabbit, and he sees like a rabbit tattoo on somebody, and follows that person or whatever, and it leads into where he needs to go. I'm kind of getting that with the color red this week for you, Leo. That the color red is trying to guide you in the right direction this week somehow. Leo, what does Leo need to know right now? And it's coming through very strongly as like a red dress, it's not a shirt, but it's like a red dress or a red scarf or jacket or hat. It doesn't seem to be a shirt. It's pretty much all other types of clothing or accessories that are not a shirt for some reason. Apparently the red shirt is not important. It's all the other red that you see around, like a red, not red flags as in, oh, that person has red flags, but red flag, like actual red flags. Like if you've seen red banners out the front of shops and things like that, maybe it's a good idea to have a look, and there might be something in there for you. If you're drawn to a rack of clothing that's got a lot of red items, that may be there may be a good little score for you there, Leo. Red silks, red animals as well. We have the bed coming through first. Rest and recuperation. It's time to look after yourself here. Okay, we have the red fox coming through there as well. So, animals with, that russet red color fur are going, follow the red fox this week, Leo. If you do see a red fox, follow that red fox. Could also, the red fox can sometimes talk about somebody with red hair as well. So, but it's that russet colored, that color, pretty much that color, red hair. But we do also see the red silks in the bed there as well. Okay, so red silks and red, that russet red color do seem to be quite important for you this week, Leo. It's just so strong, this red energy. I just keep, like, nearly everything I'm looking at is covered with like a sheen of red at the moment. And I do sort of see, this fox is at the end of an alley kind of way here too, with some red doors in the background there as well. So I do feel as though, following the red is going to take you through to some interesting opportunities, or not necessarily opportunities, but new ideas on what you're doing there, because we have the stork coming through as well. But it's time to, rest and recuperate and really take some time to yourself. That fox does talk about, being very independent and doing what you need to do for you on your own survival. And that's what you need to do this week, is to really just rest. Really, build a little fort in your bedroom and just hide out in bed for a day eating chocolate. Why not? But following red this week, it does seem to be taking you to, stir up some new ideas and new perspectives on things this week, and taking you forwards into brand new energy from here on out. But it does seem very important to once again follow the red. That's the main message I'm getting for you this week, Leo, is about this following the red. So very interesting. I don't know exactly what that's about for you, but you may find yourself wearing, red items this week a little bit as well to, inspire that intuition to take you in the right places anyway. So that might be advised for you this week, Leo. Okay, but that's what we have for you. You are more than welcome to check out your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel, and we will move on over to Virgo. Okay, Virgo, what does Virgo need to know right now? What does Virgo need to know this week, please? Important messages for our Virgos. Ooh, dolphin spirit. Activate more bliss. Okay, so we all know dolphins are very playful and fun and blissful. And do you know what? They make some weird squeaks and noises too. I'm sort of picturing a lot of, I'm kind of getting drawn to the idea of a bunch of I'm seeing a bunch of dolphins, splashing in the water, doing their little squeaks and squeals. But then I'm seeing a bunch of children splashing in water and squealing and with delight. So I really think that might be something that really helps activate your energy in a really positive way this week, Virgo, is that playful spirited stuff where we're just having fun, we're just looking for the adventure and just finding moments of bliss in amongst all the chaos. Clarifying this message for our Virgos, what's important for Virgo to know this week? What does Virgo need to know, please? Okay, flying one card out over there. Definitely seeing a sense of adventure for you, Virgo. Okay, that one that flew out was the garden. So like I said, splashing in the water. Look, there's that fountain in the center of it all. Splashing in the water is actually talking about, in your reading here, splashing in the water. I've said it a few times now, but it's talking about this garden energy, which is social public space energy. Okay, so for some of you, this is like going to a public space. It may even be a beach or a public pool or, a water park or something like that, especially for those of you where you're in the world where it is actually summer right now. That may be really fun thing to do this week for you. Not likely here in Australia. It's going to be a sauna if we go anywhere with, like a hot springs or something like that. It is winter and it is starting to get really cold. But splashing in water may actually be really good for you. But in this sense, splashing in the water is splashing in your social groupings. All right. So spending time with friends, getting out and about, meeting up with people. For some of you, it may be splashing your feet in the water of the dating pool. All right, this is my dating card, and once again we're getting that dating pool, that same sort of reference coming through there, because it's really time to start this journey, this overwater journey. So this journey of where you're traveling on the water, where you're going through the social life and spending some time delving into that and starting that brand new adventure, traveling to spend time with people, traveling to go places where you're having fun out in public. It may be exploring your local area. It doesn't need to be huge distances. For some of you, you may actually be going on like a holiday, that sort of stuff. Maybe it's to a nice villa with a pool like that, but maybe overseas for some of you there. But others of you, it could just be in your local area where you're, traveling further than you maybe normally would, or you're just traveling specifically to be, out in public having fun. It's just coming through very, very strongly like that. We also have the snake here, which I feel like this is just mostly talking about Scorpio energy. Scorpios seem to be important to your energy right now, Virgo. So there may be a Scorpio that you're dealing with or spending time with or you're traveling with at the moment here as well. But for others of you, it's kind of like I'm getting a secondary message, a couple of secondary messages here, that for some of you, this adventurous spirit, this getting out and about and spending time outdoors and being playful is actually taking you to a very playful physical encounter, with somebody. We're also seeing here that for some of you, there is this element of, I'm just getting this extra message of some of you trying to say, like, I don't have time for that. I don't have, like, I don't deserve to take a day off to just spend time with friends and things like that. You're deceiving yourself. Okay, so just be careful of that, because that can be a deception sometimes, an illusion that you're creating around yourself, is that you don't have time to just have fun and play and find bliss. It's very important for you this week to actually do that, and find some time to just have fun with life and get out and spend time with friends and explore the world around you and go on some silly little adventure, because if you deceive yourself into believing that you don't deserve that or you don't have time for that, that's when the snake can sometimes rear its head, and you then will need to be careful from the repercussions of not, if that makes sense. It's not telling me, because I'm getting that, a lot of you're going to listen to me and you're going to go and make sure you do have to make time to just have fun with friends this week. So you're avoiding those repercussions, but it's just sort of letting me know that that is coming through a little bit here as well. All right. So it's kind of like, if you're there with the people, meeting up with all the friends, no one can betray you because you're right there. If that makes sense, like, more than anything, it's you're betraying yourself if you don't do this, is what's coming through. But that's what I've got for you today, Virgo. You are more than welcome to check out your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel, and we will move on over to our Libra. Okay, moving on to Libra. Libra, what do you need to know right now? What does Libra need to know right now? Weekly check-in for our Libra. See, Goddess of Momentum. Okay, that says consistent communication. Oh, Libra, I love this card because, this is something I'm big on, is, trying to make sure we do have consistent communication. I can be really bad at that sometimes with my friends. But I do feel that this week is about consistent communication, and it's not just, so I feel like there's something that you may be trying to get across to somebody, but you do actually need to be consistent with what you're saying to this person, not giving people, mixed messages kind of energy coming through, and not sort of slacking off from what we're asking of somebody. If we're asking something of them, but there is something else there. I just can't quite grab it yet. Libra. What does Libra need to know this week? What does Libra need to know right now? Okay, so we do have the stars coming through first here, Libra. So there's definitely some dreams, some wishes, some goals that we have in mind here, that we are wanting something here. And maybe that this is what the consistent communication is asking, that we need to be very consistent with, communicating that we want this, we want to achieve this, that we wish for this, that this is our goal kind of thing. So if this is a scenario, where you are wishing, for example, a promotion at work, we do need to be very consistently communicating, look, I can do this job. I'm, consistently asking for this promotion and showing that I can, am worth this promotion, that kind of thing. This goal is still my goal. I need you to know that this is my goal. I'm consistently reminding myself, as well as, you know, if this is something else around you, that this is my goal that I'm aiming towards here. We also have the house here. So for quite a lot of you, this is going to be, you know, it definitely could be job related with, you know, issues of financial security and stability, you know, job security coming through there. But for a lot of you, I feel like this has got to do with your family situation or your actual house situation. Okay, so the physical house that you're in, you may be sort of, you know, it's that sort of example of trying to consistently communicate with somebody. I need you to vacuum. I'm doing this and this. You need to vacuum, and you maybe do need to be consistently communicating that with them in order for that to become a habit for them to just do that, that kind of thing. But we also have the incense burner coming through here, Libra. So the incense burner is a very interesting one because it does sort of show us that, you know, it can be like clearing your energy and the essence of something, that something is significant but fleeting. So I kind of feel as though this is what this is like, you know, something can be quickly dispersed if you're not consistently communicating. I need this from you. I need this from you. You know, you may see action, but it may be very fleeting, and the energy gets dispersed very quickly and it's forgotten about. So that's why you're needing to be very consistent with communicating about, this is what I expect here. This is what I want here. You know, so it also does show us that you do have a lot of protection around and around your stability and security with this issue, but also just needing to consistently communicate what you're desiring out of the situation. Okay, so I do feel as though for some of you, this is quite as simple as, you know, reminding somebody you've got to do these chores. These chores, you know, I expect this to be done, and you know, like, so it may even be with a child or something like that for some of you there. Okay, it's that keeping the momentum going, that yes, they've done it once, but hang on, I need to make it so that this is, they've done it so often, they're so used to doing it that it becomes a habit. You know, so that consistent communication becomes important there. All right, Libra. So that's what we have for you. You are more than welcome to check your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel and we will move on over to Scorpio. Okay, Scorpio. Scorpio, what does Scorpio need to know right now? What's going on for Scorpio this week? What does Scorpio need to know right now, please? Oh, shark spirit. Love that, especially being a water sign. You know, water can be very emotional and soft and flowing, but it can also, you know, it can be those cute little fish swimming around, but it can also be a shark. You know, so that water energy, I love it. Clearer perspective for you this week, Scorpio, with that shark spirit. For some of you, it's kind of like aggressively gaining clearer perspective. I'm just kind of getting this energy of hunting down clarity and really seeking it out, like searching for that clarity for yourself this week. Scorpio, what does Scorpio need to know right now? What does Scorpio need to know right now? Quite a lot of interesting energy coming through here for you. Very interesting. The first card I've got here is the Spirit card. Okay, so this is one of the extra cards in this deck. It does talk about destiny and your spirituality, but it's also referring to elementals and balance there. So, you know, earth, air, fire, water balancing, and masculine, feminine balance, like that yin yang within yourself. We do see this particular card. We've got the earth, the air, the fire, and then the water being knelt on there. So it is very important to find balance within all the elements within yourself here, Scorpio. It's kind of like talking about nurturing not just your emotional world. Being a water sign, the emotional stuff, you know, comes quite naturally to you. You kind of, you know, you're kneeling in that emotion there, but then in your hands you've got, you know, earth to ground you, to balance you. You've got air to, you know, take you away to your wildest dreams, and then you've got that fiery passion as well. So it's kind of balancing all those things out here, and really trusting in your destiny. I feel that there's a lot of trusting in my destiny, and finding that, you know, we did see that clearer perspective, a lot of clarity for you this week about, you know, how to connect to yourself more spiritually, more balanced in that element there, and to, you know, like, trust your destiny, to trust your intuition, and trust your destiny has got something really good in store for you, which it's very interesting because I do have these two actually came out together. And so we have the coffin has come out with the bed. Okay, so with both of these coming out together, that is very clearly saying it's time to put it to rest. Okay, so it's not putting destiny to, it's kind of, you know, it's giving me this very interesting message here, because it's saying you need to connect more, you know, because on either side of that put it to rest energy, we've got the Spirit card here, but we've also got the Moon on the other side, which does talk about emotions and following your emotions and trusting your intuition. You know, trusting destiny has got some good stuff in store for you here. That Spirit has got your back here. So it's kind of telling us that there's something in the middle, that something that we're stuck in the middle. You know, we've been resting on it a little bit, and it's time to actually put it to bed, kind of thing, to close the lid on that, to gain this clearer perspective through trusting our intuition, so that we can put this issue to bed. I'm just going to clarify here and see if we can find out what exactly it is that you're needing to put to bed, to put to rest here, because I am picking up very clearly that that's very separate to the other messages there. Clarify the coffin and the bed for Scorpio, please. Especially the bed and the coffin together is also giving me very muchly that energy of like Sleeping Beauty, where, you know, she goes into the glass coffin and a true love's kiss awakens her again. So it's kind of like you've been kind of in this glass coffin and you're just sitting here waiting for true love's kiss to awaken you, which is the spirit, the intuition. You're waiting for, you know, destiny to come knocking, but it's time to kind of, I think for some of you, put it to rest that it's just going to fall into your lap. That for some of you, you're actually having to follow your intuition and seek this, because you're gaining clearer perspective through this shark spirit. And sharks, you know, they're aggressive. They go after what they want aggressively. They don't just, you know, chill back in the water and wait for you know, the fish to just fly into their mouth. No, they go chasing. They hunt for what they want. So I kind of feel like that's got a connection there as well. Clarify what this is that Scorpio needs to put to rest this week, please. Okay, so we have your card, Scorpio, as well as the Garden. Okay, so for some of you, it's a betrayal of a friend, a deception. A friend has, you know, you need to put that to rest. You've been deceived by someone, betrayed by someone. That's what needs to be put to rest. For some of you, that deception is, you know, the call is coming from within the house, kind of thing. Some of you are telling yourself, I don't need a social life. I don't need to be out spending time with people. I don't need to be dating. For some of you as well, this is my dating card. And that's kind of an illusion that you've placed upon yourself, that you don't need that in your life. It's time to put that whole idea to rest. It's time to just trust your intuition. Is, you know, maybe it is time to more aggressively pursue the relationships that you want, whether that be dating or friendships, or even just, you know, going out to events and, you know, having a specific, there might be a specific meeting that you are wanting to have with somebody, or meeting somebody specifically, or a type of somebody specifically, and it's time to, you know, stop deceiving yourself that it's okay if that doesn't happen. It's maybe time to start more aggressively pursuing that, and trusting your intuition. It's, you know, a very strong message about, you know, putting it to rest. This you've kind of just been sleeping on it kind of thing, and it's time to really put that to rest and move on to the next phase, where you're actually protected and in your destiny here, and trusting your intuition and moving forward in a little bit more of a pursuit of it kind of way, rather than just sitting back and waiting for everything to fall in your lap. Okay, so that's what I've got for you today, Scorpio. You are more than welcome to check your other messages through other placements. I am strongly just picking up too. I'm not sure whether she will be watching or not, but my friend whose name starts with A, that message was definitely for you. Okay, and it was to do with dating, needing to be a little bit more aggressive in pursuing. Okay, so that's what I've got for Scorpio today, but you're more than welcome to check out other placements as well. Subscribe to the channel, and we will move on over to Sagittarius. Okay, Sagittarius, what does Sagittarius need to know right now? Sagittarius, what does Sagittarius need to know right now? Heart chakra gateway. Love, capacity, and expansion. You think your heart is full, but there's still room to expand your heart to more, to invite more love into your life, Sagittarius, to expand the love that you give to others. And maybe, because I do kind of feel straight away here that this is welcoming somebody else into your heart. I do feel like this is connected to a new person for a lot of you here. Whether this is a romantic or a platonic connection, I'm not 100% sure as of yet. But it's all about, you think that you're giving all that you've got to give. You think that you're receiving as much love as, can fill you. But there's more. There's more. Expand your heart and expand your heart's awareness. As well as, for some of you, this is about expanding your heart's awareness to yourself as well, that you're giving out all this love, but you're not giving it to you. Okay, Sagittarius? Clarifying this message for Sagittarius. What does Sagittarius need to know right now? What does Sagittarius need to know right now? We have the mountain coming, the whip coming through first, as well as the mountain. Okay, so I just had them around the wrong way with my words. This little pup is going to create havoc. Won't be a sec. Sorry, Sagittarius. So straight away with the whip and the mountain, we are seeing that there is a potential blockage or obstacle being created through like an argument, some sort of conflict of interest, or conflict of opinion between you and possibly a Capricorn. That is the Capricorn card, but it doesn't have to be. It's just sort of creating some sort of blockage, obstacle, that it's going to just take a little bit of work to persevere and be determined to get through this obstacle or delay with this person. So we've already kind of been told the answer, that it's time to expand your heart space to this person, and your capacity for love needs to be front and center to get through this little rough patch with this person. I feel for some of you, this may actually be someone brand new that you're meeting, and it's kind of you're meeting this person, and it's kind of like it's kind of like you have this conflict immediately when you meet this person. So it's kind of like, you are feeling conflicted, or for some of you, you're beating yourself up and sort of saying, oh, I've got to, I've got this blockage. I can't deal with this right now. I can't get to know another person because I've already got plenty of people in my life. And so for some of you, you kind of conflicted within yourself and just arguing within yourself about how, I can't put in all this effort to get to know somebody, or brand new kind of thing. So some of you, that's what's going on here. But overall, I do kind of just feel as though sometimes conflict, especially conflict that is going to be worked through, because with the mountain, it shows us that, it may take a little bit of hard work, but this is an obstacle that you can overcome. So sometimes the conflicts that we work through, they're the ones we learn the most from, and they're the ones that are most significant to us, especially with the spirit card here as well. So there is a lot of spirituality and destiny in doing this and getting through this conflict, through this obstacle. And in order to, I feel like for a lot of you, it's about teaching you to open up your heart space a little bit more and whatnot. So that's what we have for you today. You're more than welcome to check your other placements, subscribe to the channel, and I'll move on to Capricorn. Okay, Capricorn, what do you need to know right now? What does Capricorn need to know right now? Capricorn. See, Goddess of Courage. That one says authentic communication. Okay, so making sure we're being very honest and open, when we're communicating with people, that we're being very authentic. We're telling the truth, okay? And sometimes, I hate to say it, Capricorn, but sometimes the truth hurts. So, being very authentic and true to ourselves and sticking to our own, moral compass when we are communicating with others, even if, we do need to say something to somebody that we maybe don't want to say. It's all about being authentic this week with the way that you're communicating, and you're not no little white lies, no elaborating or exacerbating the truth, those sorts of things. Capricorn, no upselling, I suppose, as well. Like, it's kind of coming through that needs to be very, very honest and open, very authentic. Capricorn, what does Capricorn need to know right now? What does Capricorn need to know right now? Okay, yeah, so this is kind of why, because we do have the bear coming through, and the bear really is a leader, like yourself, Capricorn, of course, but the bear really does stand its ground. It's careful to not be too defensive or overprotective, but it's still very protective of its own self, and it does need to create strong boundaries around itself, okay? So the bear energy really does talk about boundaries and having very clear boundaries in place here. So we do have, hang on. Oh my gosh. Capricorn, this little puppy is up to like crazy rat bag stuff tonight. Just give me a second, guys. Okay, sorry for the interruption, Capricorn, but that's exactly why we're seeing this goddess of courage, the authentic communication. It's important to, authentically communicate your boundaries and not give ground when you know that that's a clear boundary. Have the courage to, put those boundaries in place when you do need to here, but not doing it in a defensive kind of way. You're defending your boundaries, yes, but you're not overstepping and becoming aggressive or overly defensive of those things there, especially when it comes to what we've got here next for you, Capricorn. We've got the cross and this is the ring. Okay, no, sorry, this is the heart. I just want to double check because I don't use this deck very often. It is the heart. I'm just wanting to double check that there. I'm like 99% sure it is the heart. I'm just needing to visually confirm that ring card just to make sure. Yeah, there's the ring there. So it's definitely that heart card here. So it's like with the cross, it's like it's a bit of a rough message in some ways, because it does talk about, the burden of love, the responsibility of being loving or showing love, and being courageous to, set firm boundaries, even with people that we do love or that we feel a responsibility to show love to. So, you know, we want to show these people love and caring and nurturing energy, but it is also very important that we're, you know, showing love to ourselves by having those boundaries. The cross does also show us that there is a sense of, you know, having faith that there is enough love to be able to have those boundaries in a, you know, a reasonable, solid, authentic kind of a way here. If you're authentically communicating and having the courage to, you know, put those boundaries in place to protect your own heart, you know, there is a sense of having faith that, you know, this spiritual love, this real beyond kind of energy is going to protect that and make that a possibility for you here. It's no longer going to be a burden or a responsibility to have those boundaries. It becomes, you know, a way of showing love by placing those boundaries. Kind of the energy I'm kind of getting here is, you know, like with children, even with animals, you know, like as you just saw, I've got that puppy here with me at the moment, and it's like I adore the puppy, but it is also a puppy, and it does need to, you know, be trained and taught boundaries. Same as children, you know, that boundaries are actually something that really help children to understand the world that we live in, and you know, to understand what's going to be dangerous for them, and those sorts of things. So we need to have those firm boundaries there, and it's no longer a responsibility. It's actually part of the way that we show love is to protect that child by having that boundary, so that we know that, you know, even though it may be hard to put that boundary on that child, it's a way to show them love, that we love them, that we don't want them to, you know, be spoiled or be put in danger, you know, at the extreme there. So sometimes, yeah, it does take courage to, you know, when you do love something, to actually put a boundary up. But, you know, that it's kind of part of the responsibility of love, is to have boundaries. It's not to, you know, it's not that it's not unconditionally loving. It's safely, healthily loving. You know, if you love somebody unconditionally, boundaries are actually important, because, you know, you're respectful of your own self in that as well. You're loving yourself as well, in that boundary. You're protecting them by putting up these boundaries in some cases, you know. So sometimes, yes, it does take courage, but it's all in, you know, authentically showing love in more than just the one way. You know, love is more than just, oh, love, love, love. You know, sometimes love is about putting boundaries and expectations on somebody. Okay, so it's just talking about making sure we're communicating those authentically from our heart, and you know, sharing that, you know, I'm doing this because I love you. It's not because I don't love you that I'm putting up these boundaries. It's because I actually do care about you, and I want to protect you and look after you and nurture this relationship in a healthy way. Okay, so that's what we have for you today, Capricorn. You are more than welcome to check your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel, and we will move on over to Aquarius. Okay, Aquarius, what does Aquarius need to know right now? What does Aquarius need to know right now? Weekly check-in message for Aquarius, please. Ooh, Code Keepers of Divine Love. Okay, be in love. Be in love with yourself. Be in love with the world. Be in love with the people that you care about. Love is, you know, more than just romantic. You know, love is a very platonic thing as well, that, you know, that you can be in love with your friends, your family, yourself. Okay, but we'll clarify that message for you a little bit here, Aquarius. Code Keepers of Divine Love, you know, and also, you know, be in love with this crazy world that we're living in. You know, yeah, it's crazy, but geez, it would be boring if it wasn't, right? I'm sure Aquarius, you guys are the gatekeepers of crazy. No, not necessarily, but I feel like as Aquarius, you understand that there's multifaceted levels in the world, and it's not all just black and white. It's not all good and bad. And sometimes, you know, we can love the fact that it is multifaceted, and love the fact that it is not all just black and white. Love the bad just as much as we love the good, because it makes the good shine even that brighter. Aquarius. What does Aquarius need to know right now? Pardon? We have the key coming through first, Aquarius. So with the key here, you know, we did see the word code keepers in that particular card, and it is sort of speaking here about, you know, code keeper, key keeper, something there. You know, you are the keeper of all the keys to your own success. That's coming through clearly. And the way that you know, open these doors for yourself is by being in love with the opportunities that are around you, sharing yourself with potential and, you know, divine love for the fact that you've got these opportunities around you, for the fact that there's success in this world for each and every one of us. You know, so it's kind of reminding you, I suppose, that there is, you know, success comes in many forms, and that you have all these opportunities in your life all around you to find success, even on the smallest little level. We do have the child here, okay? So, you know, even starting on that tiniest level of a child, you know, finding new opportunities to connect with your inner child, finding new opportunities to just play and have fun and see life as the adventure that it really is, to not take it so seriously all the time, to not get caught up in the, you know, the responsibilities and all that sort of stuff, to just enjoy it a little bit more here. Have a little bit of gratitude, you know, as well, is coming through. We do have the snake coming through there as well. So it's kind of like finding alternate routes around things, and just being very careful that, you know, you're not creating illusions around yourself that are keeping you stuck in the reality, that are keeping you away from seeing these successful opportunities all around you, because the successful opportunities are, you know, they're sitting in the playful, the fun, the adventure. They're sitting in the love. So be in love with life itself, and, you know, don't let the illusion of, you know, it's kind of like the Matrix, you know, reality, the illusion of reality, and that, you know, you have to do this and you have to do that to be, you know, a member of society and things like that. Don't allow that illusion to shatter, you know, shatter that beauty within you, the innocence and naivety of a child, you know, what that looks around and goes, when I grow up, I could be anything I want. When I, you know, when I look around, all I can see is adventure and what I can turn into a game and imagination. You know, don't allow the illusion, the delusion of, you know, the material world and reality and work kind of, you know, stop you from you know, just being in love with life itself. That you do really have the keys to your own success here, and it seems to be the way that you're looking at life in general. And you know, for some of you, you've been gatekeeping a little bit yourself, when it comes to the way that you feel that you have to look at the world. So allow yourself to just embrace that inner child and just be a little bit more adventurous and playful with life, and it will move you in the right direction this week, Aquarius. Okay, but that's what we have for you. You are more than welcome to check out your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel, and we will move on over to Pisces. Okay, Pisces. Pisces, what does Pisces need to know this week? What does Pisces need to know, please? weekly check-in message for our Pisces. Visionary Sea Queen. Potent projections. Okay, so Taurus had this card as well this week. I'm actually seeing this is important as well here. On the bottom of the deck, we've got the lobster spirit as well, Pisces. And that does talk about grounded enlightenment. So it's kind of a bit of both for you this week, that you're projecting these visions that are kind of very, very potent, but it's because you're so grounded in your own enlightenment and, you know, this awareness within yourself that you really can create your own everything, Pisces, that if you believe it, you can create it, that you are really able and to manifest and to be a very, very potent projector of whatever vision you see for the world around you, that life around you, that if you imagine it to be a certain way, then that's what I will make it become. And your manifestation of this week is really strong, Pisces. You know, you always are pretty grounded in your own enlightenment, Pisces. But this week it's super potent, and I feel like for a lot of you here with that visionary sea queen, that is a projection energy. So it's kind of like this energy of you and being so grounded in your own awareness this week. You're kind of spreading that out, not only to people around you, but to the world in general. And that it's kind of like, you know, the more that you're projecting love and happiness and you know, positive energy, the more that you're creating that world around you. And vice, like the same can be said for all the negative energy. The more that you're telling yourself that is horrible, this is horrible, you know, it's all horrible, the more that you're projecting that out to the people around you and the greater world around you. And that becomes, you know, the box that you become trapped in. If you tell yourself, I'm stuck in this box, you become trapped in this box this week. Okay, so you already have this awareness within you, and this week it's just very, very potent, and all your manifestations really are spreading out from within. So it's kind of like, you know, if you're envisioning certain things for people's futures, that makes it more likely for them for that to be the case, and for yourself as well. It does seem to be affecting quite a lot of the people around you though this week, Pisces, that it's kind of like everyone around you is kind of looking to you for, you know, what does Pisces say is going to happen, and what does Pisces think is the best way to move forward, and all this. And so your advice this week is actually very, very important to others. So it's kind of like needing to be very careful, you know, what you're projecting this week. Pisces, what does Pisces need to know this week, please? I do feel too that you're grounding other people in your own enlightenment as well. So that projection is following through in that sense as well, that you're actually so aware and enlightened that you're able to inspire that same awareness and enlightenment in others around you as well. So you've got a lot of power at the moment, Pisces, not going to lie. Pisces, what does Pisces need to know right now? This song haunts me, I swear. It's that Take On Me. So firstly, we're seeing the Spirit card coming through here. So we're definitely seeing a lot of enlightenment, a lot of spiritual connection for you, a lot of protection as you move through the world at the moment, protection from your own, you know, negativity being allowed to sort of be so potent at the moment. There's a lot of destiny and elemental balance around your energy this week, Pisces, that, like I said, that elemental balance, you're really balancing other people out as well, especially here too with the the garden coming through. So this is like public and social energy. This is, you know, meeting of two minds, compromising with others, showing other people the way a little bit here, that, you know, other people are wanting to meet you at your level, and you're so, you know, you're so potent at the moment that it's inspiring people to meet you where you're at. But it's also, like I said, the social card as well. So this energy really is spreading out from you here, Pisces. And, you know, it's kind of like spreading your spiritual energy all over the public, you know, around you. And no matter where you go this week, it's like you're really I'm kind of seeing this vision of somebody, you know, walking along, and everywhere they go, it's like this force field around them, like drags. You know how you see like in the movies, the people walk down the street, and everywhere they go, it's like they look at someone, and then that person starts joining in with the dance, and then, you know, next thing you know, there's this whole crowd following them, all doing the same moves, and you know, doing like the flash mob type thing. It's your energy is just so potent this week. You're drawing other people in to try to follow your same moves this week, and you know, so needing to actually be very aware of how potent your energy is this week, and how much of an influence you are on the people around you, even people you don't know. This is, you know, your group of friends, you know, people that you know on a greater acquaintances, you know, but then also, once again, just pretty much anyone that you come into contact with this week. It's kind of like you touch someone, and all of a sudden they become aware, and then they touch someone and they become aware. It's like it's spreading out. I'm also seeing that game, that plague game, you know, like like a zombie movie or whatever, where, you know, somebody gets the zombie virus, and then it just like spreads and spreads and spreads and spreads. So, you know, don't get the zombie virus this week, Pisces, because it will spread and spread and spread all around you. So you want to do that as positive energy, all right? But at the same time, we also do have the fox here as well. So it is very important that you're standing tall and strong and independent, and, you know, being very clever with the way that you are sharing your energy this week, because you are such an influential character this week, you know, against everyone, that it is very important for you to focus on what you need to do for you. And part of this is making sure that you're not spreading negativity, because, you know, as we all kind of know, you know, what you put out there, you get back tenfold, sort of thing. And so you're needing to sort of stand very independently, and take care of yourself in a different kind of way than you may be used to. This is about, you know, being actually very clever with the way that you're using this potency, to spread this energy around yourself here, that you're very conscious and aware of spreading enlightenment and love and positivity, and that spiritual, you know, energy, that balance, rather than you know, being very clever about, intelligent about not spreading negativity, because, you know, the more negativity that you're spreading around you, you're going to keep attracting that back to you. So, you know, it's needing to be very, you know, what do you want? It's kind of like, it's giving me a few of them random sayings with that fox card, like treat others how you wish to be treated, you know. So if you want people to treat you with love and kindness and respect this week, you need to show, like, lead by example. All right. And same as, like, if you want people to treat you with not I lost my phrasing there. There was another saying coming through there. So it was, yeah, treat others the way that you wish to be treated this week, because you're going to get it, it's going to come back. You're leading by example there, but also that it's like a little bit leader of the pack kind of thing. Once again, that leading by example, that you're spreading positivity everywhere you go this week. You know, as long as you're staying very smart about it, and you know, only projecting what you wish to receive back as well. You know, so there's a potential here too, Pisces. I feel like there is a potential here to work a little bit of magic with this. Okay, Pisces, I feel like this is, you guys are someone who can undertake this. That if you're wishing to receive magic this week, put it out there. Put it out there to the universe that I want to see magic this week. I want to see, XYZ this week. I want this to happen for me this week. And the more that you're putting that out there, the more that you're going to start receiving back that energy that that you're putting out there. So, really strong manifestations this week, Pisces. Very intriguing. You are more than welcome to check your other placements, of course, see, if there's an extra layer to that for yourself there. But if this is where we leave each other, thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all again soon.